There are many stories about the origin of the Bell Witch Cave and the entity that lives there. Some say it is the spirit of a neighbor who cursed the Bell family on her deathbed because of money or love. Another report is a teacher who fell in love with a member of the Bell family and was practicing in the occult, conjured this entity because his love was unrequited. Yet another report is this was originally Native American land, and an entity was disturbed once the family started farming. Whatever the origin, the events that occurred in the 1800s have made this a very disturbing location. The story of the Bell Witch Cave dates back to the Bell family in 1804. This is where John Bell bought 320 acres of farmland that included a 490-foot cave, and then moved his family to Robertson County, Tennessee. John, his wife Lucy, and their children lived peacefully there until the summer of 1817, when their lives took a sinister turn. From a cave on the property, an entity emerged, claiming many identities when asked who it was, one time saying it was the witch of a neighbor named Kate Batts. After that, the force came to be called Kate, the Bell's Witch. The activity began with the sounds of footsteps, doors slamming, slaps on the walls, and the rattling of chains. Soon after, they started seeing a strange animal they thought was a hellhound. Several attempts were made to capture or kill the creature, but John Bell was never successful. Then they started hearing gnawing sounds, and it even sounded like there were hundreds of rats within the walls. Over the next several years, the entity known as Kate tormented the Bell family. John and his daughter Betsy experienced the most abuse, which the entity stated it wanted to accomplish two things: to kill John Bell and to stop Betsy from getting married. Betsy was pinched, scratched, had her hair pulled out by the roots, and was stuck with pins. John suffered from dizzy spells and had the feeling of a stick being stuck sideways in his throat. It seemed, though, that the Bell Witch liked John's wife Lucy, reportedly bringing her fruit and complimenting her when she was sick. The entity known as the Bell Witch vowed to kill John Bell on multiple occasions, and when he died, on December 20th, 1820, a mysterious vial was found near his bedside. The grieving family fed a drop of the liquid to their cat, and it died instantly. This chain of events evoked the spirit of the Bell Witch, who claimed responsibility for John's death. The state ruled his death as a product of the Bell Witch, making Tennessee the only state to rule a death on the supernatural. With John dead, the spirit turned its focus on Betsy. It began to follow her wherever she was, pulling her hair, beating her, and shouting threats and curses at her and her fiancé. By March 1821, Betsy could no longer take it and broke off her engagement. Once these two events happened, the Bell Witch said goodbye and promised to Lucy she'd return in 7 years. She did come back for a short time, saying her next visit would be in 107 years. However, some strange things continued to happen in and around the Bell Witch Cave, making it seem as though the Bell Witch was still there. Most of the activity involving the Bell Witch Cave may be terrifying, but according to legend, the entity actually once saved a young boy who had become stuck in the cave while playing with a group of friends. While exploring, he got stuck in a hole and called out for help. A voice, seemingly that of the Bell Witch, shouted, "I'll get him out," and an invisible force pulled the boy out of the hole. She then talked to the children briefly about safety and then disappeared. As the Bell Witch haunted the family that chose that cursed path of Tennessee land, she grew stronger and stronger. No longer placated by doling out scratches and verbal abuse at nightfall, the Bell Witch became emboldened to affect more lives. Some accounts say the Bell Witch began to draw large crowds, where she spoke fluently of the Bible, quoting scriptures word for word. Remarkable as that may be, her omnipresence was more astounding. She was said to be able to haunt two places at once, sometimes miles apart, and speak to 4 different people at the same time. The Bell Witch Cave was designated a historical landmark in 2008. It is one of the most haunted places in the United States and was said to have been experienced by none other than Andrew Jackson. Over the last 200 years, it is the most documented case of the supernatural in history. Will anyone ever know the truth behind the Bell Witch legend? Is the entity in the cave really the spirit of Kate Batts, or is it something much darker? As we open a window to look into the Bell Witch Cave, we just hope she doesn't notice us and start looking back.